All right, man. Well, welcome to our phone call boot camp. All right, so let's talk about the phone calling skill. It's the most important when you start out. Is not one of the. It is the most important skill because you can't run an appointment, you can't close an appointment, you can't get paid until you actually book that appointment, right? And so there are three things that you need to get the process started. Number one, you need leads. Number two, you need skill. And number three, you need a schedule. Okay. So we're going to just keep myself on track. I'm already varying the agenda. Leads, skill, and schedule. All right. So let's talk about leads. A lot of you are going to get started with, starter leads, bonus leads, leads that are older. And the purpose of those leads that Jeannie gives you is, if they're bonus leads, like, old leads, is to practice. It's to get used to saying the script, get used to really getting your skill level up with, I guess, low pressure, right? And I know we give out free leads to a certain number of people. So the pressure on paid for leads that we give you for free is that you better perform or we're yanking you off the free lead program, right? Performing means you better dial, you better coach, you better meet with me to stay on the free lead program, because I want to know you need to be on the Zoom calls, because I want to know that you're looking to improve and you're putting the effort in to eventually get better. But the bonus leads, these are leads that other agents have run, and we actually have agents sell on them. But the bonus leads is just for you to get used to dialing the phone, low pressure. And really what I'm trying to test you is, are you going to make the dials? Like, we give you 68 bonus leads that are old. And, I catch up with you because typically you're not booking on my calendar. I catch up with you and say, hey, man, how those leads going? Oh, it's going okay. I haven't really booked anything yet. Oh, okay. Well, how many dials did you make? Oh, I made 30 dials. Dude, you had 68 leads. If you dial through each one of them 3 times in a row, you should have almost 200 dials in. What do you mean? Well, we dial 3 times in a row, and each dial, when the lead doesn't pick up, and each dial counts for a tick mark on our tracking sheet, right? So, well, I dialed 30 leads. Well, what you do, dial it once? You go, yeah. I mean, it's amazing the conversations I have with new agents. And clearly it tells me that they haven't watched any of the training videos, or they just are clueless, even though, we guide them, we teach them, we try to do everything we can to help them succeed, and they choose not to listen, right? I hope that's not you. Okay. So that is, the frustrations of working with people, because it kind of gives you an idea of, who's listening, who deserves to stay on the free lead program, and who does not. But the bonus leads is really a low cost way for you to not have any pressure. And when someone says, yeah, I made $180 over the last couple of days, I'm jacked up, man. I say, okay, now tell me, how many connects did you have? How many appointments did you book? Did you book any appointments? Yeah, I booked 1 appointment. Okay, great. How many connects did you have? I had 5 connects. Okay, that's not bad. You probably should have had more connects. When are you dialing the phone? And then out of the 5 connects, what kind of objections you run into? And then I got a chance to coach them, right? But if they never get on my calendar to coach, they never, then I can't help them. So that's the purpose of the bonus leads, just to get you dialing and to prove to me that you're serious about making this business work for you, whether you're part-time or full-time, right? So whether you know it or not, it is a test. And some of you fail it, and we try to give you another chance. Some of you pass it with flying colors. And then you that are making an effort, man, I'm honing on you. I'm going to spend time with you. I'm going to coach you, right? And we're going to get you making money. So that is part of the deal. For folks that we never hear from, you're not going to be on the lead program very long, the free lead program very long. And we've got to tighten we have to tighten our ship, because we've let agents go along without writing an app for too long. I told Jenny, no more compassion we are compassionate, but the compassion is you reaching out and getting help. We're going to cut people out, and we have already. So some of y'all, if you haven't seen any leads, we probably already cut you off. Okay. So anyway, now you can start buying your own leads. You only have, oh man, I'm not going to go there. Okay, I'm going to go there. Here's why, because I hope that you can appreciate the position that you're in, the position I'm in. And, nothing like being honest, right? We need to be honest with each other. I will only let people take advantage of me once. Once I feel taken advantage of, I will not extend, that freebie to you ever again. Ever, 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 never. Okay. That's just the way I operate. When I feel someone's taking advantage of me and my generosity, not that I'm looking for gratefulness. Gratefulness comes from working your butt off. That's how you prove to me. Like I don't even care about results as much as I see that you're working. You're on the Zoom calls. You don't have excuses. Like right now, the people that have excuses not being on this call, they're people in the New Jersey boot camp. And it's like, rock on, man. It started at 10 o'clock. And we've got people out there. It's like, don't be on this call. You need to be at that New Jersey boot camp or any of the boot camps that are going around the country that are on a Saturday. Okay. But just so you know, the minute I feel taken advantage of, no more. Okay. Zero. So if you want to find someone as generous as me, you need to go to another agency and see if that manager will do it. Chances are you're not going to find them. Okay. Because I'm probably the only one I know of that does what I do. Honestly, I don't know of any other manager, especially in the Alliance, that does the kind of things that we do for our agents as far as freebies. So does everyone understand that? Are you like, do you know where I stand? Do you know, I don't want any misunderstanding, okay? I should maybe be more clear with that up front, but sometimes do I need to be clear about generosity and how you repay generosity with work? I don't think I need to be, but that's why I don't really talk about it. I just let your actions speak volumes about your character. Okay. Your action will speak volumes about your character. And lately, in the last 2-3 months, we have, I have to say, we fired people. We have fired agent after agent after agent. I love how Mary fires people. I kind of taught her this. She tells them, we're no longer going to move forward with you. We found another agent to fill that slot that we were slotting you for. We found another agent. Good luck to you. I hear Family First Life is looking for people. That might be a better agency for you. Okay. That's kind of the kiss of death. If you guys ever plug into, what is it, Hard Knocks with the NFL, they call that person the Turk, right? And the Turk goes into a player's, room, say, hey, the general manager would like to chat with you real quick. Bring your playbook. Keyword is you're getting fired. So they bring the playbook in, and then, so the Turk is one that tells them, well, Mary's kind of like my Turk. Anyway. Okay. Now that we've gotten through that part, okay, let's get fired up. So let's go over leads. Let's go back to the lead part. Okay. So the bonus leads are a way to test you to see if you're going to call me, if you're going to get coaching, and if you're going to pound the phone, and if you're going to use the tracking sheet, right? Now, when people wonder what's the tracking sheet, then that gives me all the clues I need to know that they didn't really go through our training website. So I explained to them, the tracking sheet that was on the training website. Oh, okay, it was on the training website? Yeah. In the phone call section, there's a link with the tracking sheet. And this is where you track all your dials. So leads to tracking, okay? And the tracking part, just so that we can help you, Okay, so that tracking sheet, okay, I'm not going to pull it out because you need to go to the training website, the bootcamp training webpage, and it's there. Okay. And don't ask me, ask Joy where it is, because I'm not, you don't want to ask me. Okay. Don't ask me about that stuff. But the tracking sheet is really our activity book that has these headings: dials, contacts, appointments, booked appointments, okay, basically sales and premium. This is basically what it looks like, okay? I used to have a whole bunch of leads sitting in a folder, clean my office out. Anyway, so you start calling leads and then you make one dial, okay? You make a second dial. Oh. Okay, then you make 3 dials that are not home, okay? You go to the next lead. So if you're doing TLP leads on a spreadsheet, you go to the next name on the spreadsheet, okay? And then you go 1, 2, 3. And then you go to the next lead, 1, 2, 3 dials, go to the next lead, 1, 2, 3. Then the next lead, 1 second dial, and then, oh well. And then you make a contact, right? So you go 1, 2, and then you make a contact, okay? Then you book an appointment, okay? Then you go to the next lead, 1, 2, 3, 1. Then you make a contact, then you didn't book an appointment. Go to the next lead, 1, 2, 3, 1, make a contact, booked an appointment. Then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, contact, didn't book an appointment. And this is how you start getting your dials. And this is why you can do 30. If you're brand new, you should be able to do 30, $40 an hour. If you're a veteran, you should be into the $50 an hour mode. Okay. And that, that typically, if you're having conversations, then it'll probably go down towards 20, 30, which is what you want. You want to have conversations. But this is how your activity sheet's going to look, is you're going to have number of dials, contacts, appointments, right? And then, you go on, you get one no-show. Let's say you make one sale. That premium is, golly, that is bad. That premium is $2,500, okay? And so you add up your numbers, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, made 30 dials, 4 contacts, 2 appointments, 1 sale, actually sits. So for the appointments, one, know how many people you sat with. So you sat 1, you made 1 sale, and for 2,500, okay? So this is what your activity reports every week should reflect number of dials. And so, if I saw that you did 200 dials, but you only made 2 contacts, then my question is, dude, when are you dialing the phone? And you're saying, I only dial from, 11 to 1 in 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's the only time you dial? Yeah. Well, chances are you're probably going to need to dial different parts during the day. Morning at 7:30 in the morning, then maybe 11 to 1, 3 to 5, and then 6 to 8. Okay, this is how you want to cover the entire day. Okay, so let's say you do 20, right? But you only book 2 appointments, then we got to work on your phone script. What are you saying on your phone script to only book 2 appointments? You're obviously not answering objections very good. But let's say you booked, 5 appointments, but your sit ratio, how many people you sat with, was 1, then we know we need to work on your tying down those appointments. Okay, let's say you sat on 4 because you have really good tie downs, and then you only sold 1, then we need to work on what you're doing in the home. Okay, but if you sold 3 or 2, actually 2 we expect, then I go rock on. But then if you only sold like 500 in premium out of 2 sales, I go, okay, what kind of sales were they? If they're on kids, well, okay, that makes sense. But if they're on adults, I go, that's a little bit low. Do you see how doing your tracking sheet will help me help you coach you? Okay. So when I ask you, give me your numbers. Alex had this many dials, this many contacts, this many appointments, this many sits, had this many sales, and this much premium. And then I'll listen to it. I'll write it down and go, okay, rock on. Let's coach you on tie downs. Let's coach you. Okay. Does that make sense? So this part is mega important in tracking your numbers so I can coach you. And the other thing about tracking your numbers is, again, you're earning my respect that you're someone that I should invest my time and money into, my time, money, and emotion into, right? Because I only have three things. You have only three things to invest with: your time, your money, and your emotion. Okay. I only have the same three things: time, money, and emotion. And if you show me that you are doing stuff like this, you're plugging into Zoom calls, it's like, I've got someone who's serious. I'm going to get them rocking, and I'm going to focus on them. I might throw them extra leads. I will focus on them. I'm going to help them become successful because they're showing me that they want to be successful. Does that make sense? Okay, so the next part, we'll talk about skill, but let's kind of put the schedule thing up there, okay? So I've had people ask me, what should my schedule be? We like to deal with efficiencies, and I'm talking here, I'm not talking telesales, okay? I'm talking from this perspective on in-home sales. So the in-home sale process, because we have a number of people on in-home, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, okay? This is your week. So if you're full-time with us, all right, Monday is your typical dial day where you book all your appointments, and you book your appointments to Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday is a dial day. This is where you can really achieve for Friday and Saturday if you want to work Saturday. It's up to you. It just depends on how busy you want to be. Okay. What's the objective? If you're slamming it, you're going to, if you're full-time, your objective is book 10 points, 10 appointments per day. You need a lot of leads to do that, okay? But that is the objective. And so when you're looking at your appointment days, let's break down an appointment day. You're going to see in your activity book that you have time slotted out. So let's say you start your day at, 8, 10, 11, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. So you want to try to book 10 appointments. And you can say, well, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 slots to book 10 appointments. But Alex, how do I book 10 appointments back to back to back to back? Well, average show rate, if you're not that good, is 60%. And if you're really good, it's 75 to 80%. Okay, so you're going to have no-shows, right? So how you handle doing it back to back. Now, this is the concept of you make no money when you're not sitting in front of people. But Alex, if I don't show up to a client, they're not going to think that I care about them, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, they no-show you left and right. Is it okay that you no-show them because you're so busy helping other families? So it's kind of insane to me. Some agents will book an 8, 10 o'clock, a 1 p.m., 3 p.m. It's like, dude, what if this is a no-show? Then you're waiting 2 hours for your next appointment. But what if this is a no-show? You just wasted an entire morning that you could have been doing something, selling a client, because you've got appointment days. Why don't you take control of your schedule? You know why the cable guy, the cable companies, you know why they like to say, okay, our guy will be out there between 8 and noon. Okay. And then you stay home from work between 8 and noon because you want your dadgum cable. That's how important cable is, that they can, well, this is important too, taking care of their families. So you could do a little bit of the cable guy thing. Okay, so this is just one of many methods to book your calendar. So the idea is to book 2 appointments between 8 and 10. So when you book it, you say, okay, now I could be there between 8 and 10 or between 12 and 2. Which one's better for you? Okay, so what happens is you book 2 appointments in a 2-hour block. And why do you do that? You do that because then it gives you the fudge factor, right? When you say between 8 and 10, okay, then you tie it down. Or is it between 12 and 2? So then you book 2 appointments in each block and you're ready. You're ready for someone to no-show you so you can go to the next appointment. And it's better to bunch them up close, right, than to spread them out in an insane schedule. Okay. Now, you got to run a lot of leads if you're doing in-home appointments. You got to run a lot of leads so you have the choice of location. So it's location, location, location. Let's talk about location. So let's say you've got 4 counties, and these counties are, this is like half an hour, 45 minutes apart between counties, right? So once you book an appointment here in county A, B, C, and D, if you book your first appointment A, then I would try to I take all my leads in A and book A counties here, okay? A. And then all my Bs, I'm going to put here. And then whichever C's or D's I put here, let's say C's here, and then D's here. I'll go to older leads in D after I go through my new leads in D. Does that make sense? So I can be super efficient where I'm going 15, 20 minutes between appointments in the same counties. This is how you can manage your counties. Again, this is in-home appointments, all right? Is this making sense so far? Does anyone have any questions? I don't have the chat box up. Can someone unmute and just tell me that you're there? Because I can't really see.
Yeah, it's good. Makes sense.
Good. So this is you're in high production mode. People that think like this are probably turning in, 5 to 10,000 a week. Okay. But you need to start thinking like this when you first get started. Right? Does that make sense? You need a lot of leads to do this. Okay. Because if you don't have enough leads and you don't have this luxury, and then you're just going to have to, drive, 45 minutes from one appointment to another. But, you start fine tuning. Okay. And that's the whole idea. The schedule thing is fine tuning it. Okay. So that's the whole idea of scheduling when you're booking appointments.
I also just want to throw this in that there's a couple apps online that will help you draw out, figure out where in your geographic area your leads are. So that's a really helpful tool. So you kind of automate where the leads are. You can make more, like you said, make better use of your time.
Yeah, like what are you talking, like Road Warrior, like
the
route?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are apps out there that'll help map out your addresses of your leads. So you put the addresses in, it'll tell you where they are. And like this is good for door knocking, right? So if you're in, if you're in A, then not only do you, so you got to bring your leads with you, because when you get no-showed, you want to continue to dial or door knock. So you either dial or door knock on no-shows. Okay. And the door knocking, having like Route Planner or some of these apps lets you know which leads are in this particular area. So you want to like group your leads in this particular area. So you know when you get no-show that you're gonna write something because you're gonna knock on someone's door. You know, again, this is heavily direct mail lead oriented. Okay. So that is true. But bring your leads with you on all your appointments because you want to, if you get no-show, typically what I do on no-show is I'll park in that person's driveway. Like I will park on their driveway and I will be booking my next appointment. Does that make sense? That's how you could be super efficient. So like in the 2-hour block, if both of them no-show you, then I am slamming that phone, baby. I'm slamming that phone. Okay. So that's the idea schedule. Now, okay, telesales, like we have a little telesales. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You choose when you want to be on the phone, but with telesales, phone time equals money. The longer you're on the phone, the more money you're going to make. It's like when I used to be a headhunter, they would track our dial time and our connect time, how long we were on the phone talking to people. And as a headhunter, that's basically what we were doing. We were doing telesales for recruiting. So we had a headset on, and then we would plan our dials the night before, and we were going to do 100 dials to clients looking for job orders, people that had open job orders for us to fill, and then 100 dials we would, 100 recruits that we would call in the afternoon. So 100 clients and 100 candidates that we would dial to recruit them into the job orders. So we were totally doing telesales. Okay. So they tracked our contact time when we're actually talking to people. And it's interesting. I was like 150,000. And my contact time when I was actually talking to people, I was averaging like 5 to 6 hours a day. Is 150. The people that are doing 3 to 4 a day, maybe they made 50,000. Okay. And so why? Because they didn't plan their day the night before. The night before, we were going to recruit. After our day was done at 5 o'clock, we'd spend 5 to 6 to plan the calls for the morning and the afternoon so that when we got to work, we'd have the headset on and we'd start dialing. And we wouldn't get off that phone. We were trying to get connect time. We were trying to talk to HR managers with job orders, etc. And this is why I made money, because I was on the dadgum phone. I'd take a break real quick. I'd run, go pee, and then I'd go back to my desk, put my headset on, slam it. Okay. Just the same way telesales here. Okay. It's a grind, right? What you trade off for getting in your car, putting gas in your car, getting no-showed after traveling, 45 minutes, would you trade off for that schedule and a higher closing ratio? Because you will get higher. I don't care who you are. Your closing ratio is going to be higher. Okay. We have very successful agents over decades that did well doing that. But telesales is here to stay. So the reality of telesales is if you're not spending connect time on the phone, then you are not making money. I don't care how many leads you have, your connect time. And there are apps out there that I believe that track connect time. Okay. This is when you're actually talking to someone. So dialing doesn't translate much to anything like in-home appointments. Like you tell me you did 500 dials, I go, woohoo, that's great. How much connect time do you have when you're talking to people? Because connect time is what equals money in telesales, right? And telesales, you cannot, like I'm telling you, like I said, what I used to run to the bathroom real quick, pee, then get back to my desk and get on the phone. Okay. That's reality. The other reality of telesales is constant follow-up. The closing rate for most new agents on telesales is like 20%. Okay. But you got to bam-fam that appointment because they're gonna think about it. And then you got to bam fan that appointment to the next day. Okay, great. Tell you what, I've got some time tomorrow from between 3 and 4. I'm going to give you a call. You're going to be home. Let's catch up and let's kind of see where you're at with it. You got to follow up, because that's where you get your close ratios higher than 20%, is follow up, follow up, follow up. You might follow up 2, 3, 4 times, but you'll get the sale if you have good rapport with the client. Now, if you're a good closer and you're good at leading them to make a decision, you're closing them on the first call or the second call. One of our top guys, Evan Patzer, he's got a 70%, now he's at a 70% close rate on his automated booking system. He closes 70%, and his persistency is pretty high too. Okay. And he'll follow up if he needs to, but he's got a high first-time close rate. If you're brand new to telesales, look, 15%, 20%, and you got to be on that phone. That's after being on the phone like 8 to 12 hours. Okay. Like, I'm not kidding. Telesales, if you want to make a lot of money, you're looking at like 8 to 12 hours on the phone. And what I mean by a lot of money, I'm talking, 200,000 plus, because we got people telesales are doing that or more that are spending the time. It's time. It's time related. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but you got to be prepared to do it. As you get better and better, the amount of production you could do in a day starts shrinking. Okay. But ideally, you want to close 1 to 2 apps a day, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2. And I promise you, this will come out of this, the number of hours, which you'll find you might get lucky one day and your first 4 hours you're going to close 2 deals. Okay. But the next day, you may not close those 2 deals until hour 10 and 11 and 12. You just never know where it's going to come or when it's going to come. But if your objective is results oriented and you need to do 1 to 2 sales a day, then you need to spend as much time as you need to on the phone. It's like when you're booking appointments. I'm not getting off this dadgum phone until I book 10 appointments or 20 appointments between Tuesday and Wednesday, whatever your results goal is. Okay. Now, if you're brand new, man, glory, hallelujah. I'd be happy if you told me you did $200 a day. Man, let's just get you, if you're brand new, let's just get your dial counts up. Okay, then we can tweak everything later. Okay. But if you are telesale, this reality, okay, well, I didn't want to get in this thing to work, 6 times 8, 48 hours. Well, tell me how many hours you want to work. Well, I'd rather work 40 hours. Okay, so let's do 8 for 5 hours. That's 40 hours, and slam the phone. Like every single hour, you're slamming the phone. You're getting your connect time up. Maybe you're going to get 1 per day. Okay. And then there's a whole thing about placement and persistency. Placement and persistence beyond the scope of this conversation. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on the reality of telesales? I made a lot of money doing this in another industry, but I know the grind. And you have to mentally set yourself up every day to grind. And I didn't feel like it a lot of times, but I had to grind, because this is what my family was depending on me to make money. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. I can't believe I'm already 40 minutes in. All right, let's talk about the skill side. Okay. Let's shake it out. Everyone stand up. Just kind of, okay. Do a circle this way, do a circle this way. Okay, just shake it out, okay? I know, man. People can only handle so much. Your butt, seminars can only be as long as your butt can handle sitting in your seat. Grab something to drink. So we're going to go over the skill side of booking an appointment. Here's the thing about appointment booking is that everyone started where you are if you're brand new. I started out and I was not that good, but I was going to get good. I didn't care. Here's why, because God is no respecter of persons, right? If someone could do something, I could do what that person does as long as I did what they did, right? It's a simple concept. Now, some of these top producers, they start out like you. So you have to do what they did when they got started, which was hit the phones. You're never ready. You have to hit the phones. Now, in order to hit the phones, you should practice. Okay. I believe in practice, but don't spend 3 weeks practicing. Okay. What I mean by practice, your friends, people that care about you. Okay. Practice dialing the phone with them. Say, call them and say, hey, can I practice my phone script? I'm in the insurance business now, and I just want to practice. So when I call you back, pretend like you sent in a form or you answered an ad on Facebook looking for burial insurance. Okay. And you gave me this information. You gave me how much you're looking for, your age, where you live, like all the stuff on our TLP leads. Tell them that. Okay. And then I'm going to call you and just help me role play. Could you do me a favor? And can I have a half hour? And then just practice. And then tell them, okay, these are the objections I want you to give me. Tell me that you don't have time for this. Okay. Don't have time. You change your mind. You're not interested. You already have life insurance. Okay. You can't afford it. Those are probably the top 4 that you need to practice. And we're going to go over the formula of how to answer every single one of those, but you give them the objections and then you have to handle each one. Just say, pick one of the 4, and then I'll call you back again and then pick the other ones I didn't. Okay, do you guys understand? Get help from people. And they'll probably feel so sorry for you. They say, well, why don't you come over? I need some insurance. Why don't you come over? Let's see what you can do for me. You're not doing it for that reason. Okay. Some people try to teach you to do that, to trick your friends into buying insurance. No. You're doing this because you got to practice. Okay. Have the courage to get with people that care about you and practice on them. Right. So that's the way to start practicing before you start hitting the phones, but only spend a Saturday doing that. Get a couple friends lined up, 3 friends on a Saturday, get all that practice done on a Saturday, and then, get with Jenny and let's get you some leads. Okay. All right. Some of the basics on lead management, other basics, is I always like to print out my leads. Like if I have direct mail leads, printable leads, I'm going to print them out so I can mark on them and annotate when I called them on every lead. Okay. Now on the TLP leads, they're going to come in a spreadsheet. So you need to have some really good spreadsheet management of that. Since I never had to do that in the past, if I were going to do it today, I would put my spreadsheets in, because you get them as soon as we can get them, right? And so I put them like in a week, every week, right? And then color code which ones I took care of, which ones didn't answer, whatever color code you want to use, and then add a new sheet every week. So you can go back to previous sheets to make dials. Okay. So that's one way to do it. Okay. Color code your disposition of it. And then when you get new leads for that week, add them to that week's set of TLP leads, and then just track it. That's the easiest way I would think of being able to do that, so that you can keep track of people, and then have a separate spreadsheet on follow-ups. Okay. So in telesales, you need to have a structured way to follow up with people. You got to be way more organized in telesales than you do with direct mail. You need to be organized with direct mail, but you got to be way more, because you'll be wasting leads if you don't know which client is active. So you're going to have clients that are active. You got some good relationship building. You haven't closed them yet. You need to set them in a separate spreadsheet and put a date when you said you'd call them back. and then call them back on that date. So you have them sorted by date so that the ones you got to do, so you can sort them by date, and then what you got to do today will be at the top, right? And then you create the disposition of those, put another follow-up date, and just keep sorting by date so you know the ones that you need to call that day. Does that make sense? You know, if you don't know how to use a spreadsheet.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
Hey, I color code them on the TLP. So I have like green, yellow. I have like different colors that I use that let me know. And then I add an extra line, an extra column on it. And then I put the results and like if it's a callback, if it was no answer. So I mean, I'm not saying I'm the most organized person, but I have to do that for my own mental sake. And the next thing that I've added, which we've talked about, is follow up on the ones that are policies to keep them nailed down.
Yes, for sure. So do you hear that? So she keeps on the same spreadsheet, but she knows color codes them, and then she puts notes on what she needs to do with them next. Rochelle, do you have like a follow-up date that you say, tell them you're going to follow up? Do you put dates, hard dates that you're going to call them back?
Well, I'm just letting you know, just to be completely transparent. I just started that this week, and I've asked them the ones for the policies. I know that they're going to get their policy within 1 to 3 business days. So on the 4th business day, I am calling them back to say, hey, let's review the policy, because I mean that was the coaching that we did.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell people, get the coaching. I mean, it's humbling, but Alex really knows what he's talking about. I mean, everything that he's told me, I've been implementing, going back to the drawing board, going like, okay, what do I need to do? And getting it in. So, yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, I love what you said. You can't steer a parked car. So if you're not actively dialing and doing something, I'd rather you create a mess and then I can help you clean it up. Okay. And there's no major mess that we can't help you clean up. As long as we identify the mess early, we can help you. Okay. But if you're like, but if you're just sitting there, you haven't started yet, but you have all these theory things that you're going to ask me. Well, Alex, what if? Alex, what if? Alex, what if? It's like, seriously, you're wasting my time with the what if. I am not going to answer your question. I'm going to say, dial the dadgum phone so we have something real to talk about. Don't talk theory. Let's just talk about practical situations that are going on with it. Okay. Okay.
And let me just say this, just the last thing. It's called action-based research. And that's the new method of research, is you have a theory and then you immediately set it into action.
Yes.
So if you have that theory, like even my own phone script, I mean, I went through it several times. I looked at the ones and I'm like, let me try something different. And I tried it and it worked. And then what didn't work, I took it out. And I tried it again and I tried it again. And so, I mean, the only thing they can do is hang up on you or cuss you out or do anything, but you got to have a thick skin and say, okay, they must be having a hard day. Move on to the next person.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing that we have to assume that you understand that. I can't be your psychologist to help you. I mean, I can sort of. Here's the thing I'd recommend. Read the book, Go for No. Just read that book, Go for No. Okay. I always look at my bookshelves and I know I don't have it in my office for some reason. It's called Go for No. Get that book, read the book. You will forever cure your fear of the phone. And look, if you got fear of the phone, get over it quick, because if you can't get over that, then this is not the business for you, okay? You need to get out quick if you can't get over the fear of the phone. It's a psychology thing, it's a self-image thing. There's so many ways to overcome it. You know the best way to overcome it? Picking up the phone and dialing. Action cures fear. Action cures fear. Florence Lidenauer, feel the fear and do it anyway. There's so many things we're fearful of, but do it anyway. Act like you're not scared. Okay.
Here's a book, Alec.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Who wrote that? It's a professor, right? You're muted.
That helped. It's Richard Fenton.
Richard Fenton.
Fenton, and Andrea Waltz.
Yeah, Walsh Fenton. You can get that book. You can get it used. Okay. It's a great book. And it's thin, right, Scott? How many pages?
Golly, let's see. Reading material about 75.
75 pages, man. You will cure your fear of the phone after reading 75 pages. I promise you. Okay. So some other general things. When you're booking in-home appointments, never book further out than 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Well, I guess it's still the same rule. 24, 48 hours. If you book it after 48 hours, the no-show rate goes through the roof. Now, if they say, well, I'm on vacation, but I won't get back till next Tuesday, which is a week from now. So I'll tell you what, when do you get home from work? About 5:30. Awesome. How about, do you think you'll be home next Tuesday between 5 and 7? I can swing by. Does that sound good to you? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a call like the day before, like on Monday or maybe Friday, and just reconfirm that. Are you good with that? Yeah, I'm good with that. So now you know that appointment's a B appointment. What I call a B appointment is an appointment that I think could be solved. It could happen. B appointments I double book. Like A appointments are appointments that I think it's solid. My feeling is solid. And after you've booked enough appointments, you're going to get a gut instinct on which ones are A appointments once you don't double book, and B appointments that you will double book in a New York minute, right? But if you use that 2-hour strategy, then those are it's kind of built into that. If you're doing telesales, the show rates on telesales about 50% and less. Okay, and so to maximize your show rate, you need to, like, I would double book those appointments, but you need to book them as soon as you can. So let's say you got a hold of a client at 10 a.m. Okay. And you can't do the appointment right then. I would book it so what time do you get back from your doctor's office this afternoon? Right. So what are you doing this afternoon? Or you're going out to go shopping yeah. What time you can get back from shopping? 3:30. Okay. Why don't I give you half hour? Let's book it for 4:00. I'll catch up with you at 4:00. 4:00's good. Is your husband going to be there too? Right. Yeah. So let me say this about one-legged appointments. Oh my gosh. Especially if you're doing, just have both clients. You can't do one-leggers, man, especially in home appointments, because one-leggers, they're going to use the same excuse. Well, I got to run it by my husband, right? I got to run it by my daughter. I got to run it by my wife. You're going to get that. That's no one-leggers, man. On telesales, book it for the same day or that evening. The latest would be the next morning, like within 12 hours. I would try to, 12 hours, man. 12 to 24. But you got to do it sooner than later. Beyond that, man, you're just asking for trouble. So anyway, does that make sense? Okay, the whole, oh man, okay. The dialing thing, everyone thinks that they need 1 hour of dialing or 2 hours worth of dialing. You just need time to get on the phone. Okay, so this is the idea of scraps of time, right? So back in the day, I used to have my leads on my desk out. So all I would have to do is sit at my desk and start dialing the next lead. So let's say I planned dial day, but I had I had lunch with an agent. So I go to lunch and I plan on getting back at 1:30, but then I had to do another interview. I only had 15 minutes. So I get back from lunch at 1:30. I had an interview at 1:45. You know what I do? I'd sit at my desk, I'd do 15 minutes of dials. And inevitably I get a hold of someone. Like Karen Musil did this once. She told me she booked 3 appointments in a span of 20 minutes because she just had her leads out. She sat down and dialed. I call that scraps of time. Okay. Like when you get no-showed, scraps of time, dial the phone. You never know when someone's going to pick up, when or wherever. So always have your leads ready to dial where you dial so that, if you happen to get done early with a interview, when, you got a ZipRecruiter interview and you got done early, you got 10 minutes, man, don't take those 10 minutes to go check Facebook. Go to your desk and dial leads to try to book your next appointment. Okay. 5-10 minutes. What? A dial only takes about 5 seconds? Okay. 5-10 seconds to make a dial. So take advantage of every scrap of time you have in between all the other, long blocks. Then the other thing about long blocks of time is you need to work in breaks where you dial for 50 minutes straight through and then 10 minutes take a break. You need to take breaks. You need to refresh. Maybe it's 5 minutes, but you need to shake it out so you're mentally alert when you start the next session. Okay. Try not to power through it. Like, okay, you know what I said on Telesales? Okay. You got to be on the phone connect time, but you also have to refresh. So I would hit it for 55 minutes and then take 5-minute break every hour. Like take a break every hour. Okay. If you're doing in-home appointments, I don't see how you can get away with doing any less than $200 to $300 a week. Okay. Telesales, like I said, dial count doesn't mean anything. Connect time means everything. Okay, script. So let's get to the skill side on the script. Let's talk about the psychology of using a script. Number one, you need to read that script out loud 50 times to yourself, to your dog, to your cat, to your fish. Okay, 50 times. Because when you read it 50 times, you're going to almost memorize it, which is not a bad thing. You don't need to memorize it, but you need to make it come out of your mouth like it's natural. Okay, it's kind of like a script that an actor uses on stage. Like I've done a whole bunch of, 40, 50 stage performances. That's about 20, 25 films, videos and industrial films I got paid for. I got paid for all that mess. Oh, I did a Ohio Lotto commercial, and I was in the movie Traffic with Michael Douglas. Me and Michael Douglas. Of course, I was uncredited because my performance was so awesome that, didn't want to steal Michael Douglas's, thunder. But anyway, you got to read the script so you know it. So it comes out of your mouth. And if there's something in there, it's not natural, like it doesn't come out naturally to you, like if you're from the South and some of these words are Yankee words, then Southernize it, right, Scott? Alabama-ize it, okay? Like, whatever. Make it comfortable for you, but don't try to change the gist of the script. And I will map it out for you so you can follow the map and not have so much worry about the script, okay? So read it out loud a whole bunch of times. Practice it, like I said, on family and friends. Okay, objection handling. You cannot start winging objection handling. Nothing drives me crazy more when people don't know that script, right? You got to know that script for handling. We changed our minds. We're not interested. You have to have a script to handle. We already took care of this. You have to script to handle. We already have life insurance. You have to script to handle. I don't have a lot of time right now. Like, can any of you automatically, if I ask that of you, you can come back with something? Because if you cannot come back with something, and I'm not talking speed, I'm not talking, yeah, Alex, we're not interested anymore. Oh, that's why I'm calling. No, you don't want to have a gap but I'm not talking speed. What I'm talking is knowing what you're going to say. Oh, we're not interested anymore. Oh, well, that's interesting. Let me ask you a question. Pattern interrupt. And then you go into it. It's not speed, it's having something thoughtful to say that's natural. That you come back every time someone says that objection, boom, you come back with yours. Anyone says the other objection, you come back with yours, to the point where in your sleep, if you should hear it in your sleep, you start mumbling exactly what that. Does that make sense? Like, you got to know it, man. That's how you can be effective. But here's the other thing about rehearsing. When I'm on stage, usually when I do a performance, we have 9 weeks of rehearsal before we actually put the show up. And usually the show will run a couple of weeks. And I was in a college production, and we did about, it was more like 6 weeks prep. And then we ran for like, I think 22 performances of it. I'll tell you what, we were all nervous on opening night, but we knew our stuff, man. I knew my songs. I knew what I was going to say. I had it cold. I had it down cold because I was going to perform, right? I had the pressure of performance. Well, you know what? When you're talking about pressure of performance, you guys have more pressure of performance because you're talking about you making money. Okay? If you just don't treat this with the seriousness as I did when I was doing my thing there, then you're not serious. You're not going to make money with us. If you treat this business like a hobby, you're going to make hobby income. Okay, does that make sense? So answer objections. So there's not a lot of pause there. And then let's talk about mirror matching. Let's go back to my share screen. Is that cool? Okay, we talk about mirror matching a lot when it comes to the in-home appointment, okay? But you can do the same when you're doing your script, okay? Now, so the first one is tonality, okay? And so how do you know the client's tone until you start talking to them? Right. So you're not going to know the tone until you start talking to them. So the best tone to start out with is called low and slow. Low and slow. Okay, so it's not, hey, Joe, this is Alex. Okay, that's kind of high. They're like, hello, Joe. Yeah, Joe, this is Alex. Low and slow. Okay, they can understand it. Until they start talking, then you can match their tone. So if they've got kind of a lower voice, you don't have to go as low as them, but try to go low. Bring your vocal range down, okay? Try to match theirs, okay? But if it's a female, okay, you know, you're a guy, you know, it's going to be hard to match the tone. But there's a certain aspect of tonality too. Are they direct and straightforward, or are they just kind of sweet? You know, you can get the sweet ladies out there. They're just the nicest. Then you turn on your sweet, nice voice. Okay. If they're, let's get to it. All right, let's get to it. You know, let's say you're calling in the Northeast. Well, then you put on your get to it voice. You put on your northern, you know, your northeastern or stern, let's get this done voice. Okay. So you got to get them talking so you can match their tonality, but just start out like neutral, low and slow. Okay. The other one is rate. Okay. So people that talk fast typically are visual people like me. I'm talking fast, well, probably because I don't want this to be 2 hours. Okay. But I'm pretty visual. So visual people speak fast because they're trying to articulate what the pictures in their head. Okay. Don't make the mistake. You think everyone's visual. People process certain things visually, but when they speak fast, they're probably visual. So if they speak fast, you need to speak fast, man. Because if you speak in your slow, let's just mosey on. You start sounding like Eeyore, and there's a lot of spaces between your words. But the person talks really fast, you're going to drive them crazy. There's not going to be a lot of rapport building there, right? You need to match their rate. So if they speak fast, you need to raise your level. And you know what? What's funny about this is when you think you're doing it fast, you are not doing it fast enough. Okay. Likewise, if they have a very deliberate way of talking, then you need to slow down to match them. Okay. And that's so hard for me, but I've had to do it. Okay. You need to match their tonality and their rate. Okay. So important. Okay. Something else I was thinking about. All right. So before we go to any scripts, is everyone with me so far? Anyone have any questions? Is this helping anybody?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sometimes I need a little feedback because I can't see y'all. I just see me on the camera. Okay, so let's talk about the script. And all scripts kind of follow this process. Most scripts do. There's some things that I put in here just the way I've done it always, but it can be, you can vary it. Okay, so the first part, okay, this is where I map stuff out, kind of the engineering brain. So the intro is when ring, ring, someone picks up the phone and you do your intro. Okay, the objective of the intro is keep them on the phone. Don't sound like someone that they can hang up on. Like, so here's what I do. Like, I'll have people call me. I don't know who it's going to be. I took my spam screener off because I was not getting calls that I should want. So what I do is I have an automatic thing on my iPhone that says, hey, I'm tied up right now. Please text me who you are and what you need, and I'll try to get back with you as soon as I can. What I found is spam calls come not from cell phones, they come from landlines. And so if it's a landline, typically, I could ignore it. But then sometimes I'll let one through just because. And so someone will be on the phone, and then the way they say it, I know it's a telemarketing call. And so I just hang up on them, right? The intro is not to sound like that person, and you want to keep them on the phone so you can get to the next part, right? So the intro, always different intros, but the one that I like that I've used forever, I call this the familiarity intro. And you know how when you talk to people that, your friends and family, you talk differently to them than you do just someone you don't know, right? You call, your mom and dad up. It's like, hey, dad. Like, I'm the only son, right? So anyone male calls him dad, it's going to be his son. Dad, hey, it's Alex. Or if I call my son Athen, hey, dude, he knows it's me, right? It's that familiarity. Like, if you record yourself talking to people that you greet on the phone that you know and people you don't, okay, so why don't you greet people on the intro like you know them? I love doing this. I think I talked about this the other day, but it serves to say it again. Hey, Scott. Hey, how's it going, Scott? This is Alex. And they pause. I'm doing all right. I love doing that because I get them to stay on the phone because I sound like they should know me. And some of them play along with it. I love when they play along because I'll play along up to the point where, I tell them, okay, well, here's the reason why I'm calling, Joe. That's when you got it. Okay. Now, if you don't have the confidence to do that yet, then just go along. So, hey, Joe, this is Alex. I still do it. I can't do the low and slow. It's like, hello, Joe. Yeah, this is Alex. I'm with the Mortgage Protection Department, or I'm with the Hey, Joe, this is Alex. I'm with the Senior Benefits Center. And you had sent in some information to us, and I just need to verify some information. So when anyone picks up the phone, what's the first thing, the question you want answered in your head? When you pick up the phone, when you decide to pick up the phone, you want to know what? Who it is and why are they calling? Okay. Right. So the information that they're looking for is who you are and why are you calling? When you answer those questions, they're going to give you more time on the phone. So your objective is keep them on the phone and then earn more time on the phone with them. So you need to figure out how to answer these two questions. Who are you and why are you calling? Yeah, John, this is Alex, from the Senior Benefits Center. Again, I want to make it sound like they should know me. Some of the best telemarketing people, like I had a guy call me up and he was awesome. He came out like I should know him. I was going, do I know you? I, in fact, asked him, I go, have we met before? He goes, no, we haven't met before. But I go, dude, you're really good. I complimented him, right? And then he went on to tell me who he was and why he's calling. So this is Alex. I'm with the Senior Benefits Center, the center that helps people take care of their burial insurance. Like when you die, we're the company that helps your family pay for your funeral. Listen, the reason why I'm calling is that you had sent some information in. I think you answered an online form that you gave us some information. I'm just verifying the information first to see if I'm talking to the right person. Okay, so this is where I go into the section we call credibility. Credibility. Let me put a big decision box. Okay, the credibility part of the phone script is, why would they want to stay on the phone with you? Well, you've got credibility because they sent something in. They believe that they sent something in. I'm the person that Dennis talked to you yesterday. I'm the licensed agent that was supposed to call you, right? You sent some information on a social media form. Okay. I need to verify the information. So you're trying to gain credibility, right? And so when you create, and I'll cover the credibility part a little bit more, but when you create credibility, then you book the appointment. And after you book the appointment, you tie it down. Every phone script looks like this, okay? Now, this is, yes, you gain credibility. Again, this is a decision diamond. No, you did not. Then you have to figure out why they should want what they want. What is their why? And then you book it, okay? So you go down one of two paths. Yes, you create a credibility with them, book it, tie down, or no, then you answer their objection to create the why or to find the why and then book it, okay? So out of the credibility part, one of the only ways I've found is to verify the information they gave us. So you want them to stay on the phone with you because you're convincing them that, hey, you sent this to us. Now, on the TLP leads, they're going to have maybe their favorite color, their beneficiary, how much insurance they're looking for. Sometimes it has their address. Any information you can verify, I would verify. So I transition from the intro. I keep them on the phone. Hey, this is Alex. I'm with the Senior Benefits Center for Montgomery County. And this is why I'm calling. You had answered a social media ad, or you filled out a form online where you put some information about what you're looking for. And my job is just to verify that I'm talking to the right person. It only takes a couple seconds. So let me ask you, Joe. I have here that you're age 72. Is that right? And you were looking for about $25,000 in coverage, your favorite color is red, or your favorite activity is your favorite team is the Bengals. Does that sound about like you got a call yesterday from Dennis? Do you remember that call? Now, most of our TLPs, if you call them right away, you're getting within 24 hours of when they were sent in. So typically they remember. Okay, they'll remember Dennis that called because on the spreadsheet it says who the caller was, right? So you've got information to verify. Okay, so you verify the information on some of our direct mail leads. It might be just age, but sometimes they'll have their spouse on there. So I go, now I have your age here, 72, and then Martha, your spouse, her age is 67. Is that still correct, or has any of your ages changed since you sent this in? And then I have you at 123 Anywhere Street in Dublin, Ohio. You're still there, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. You verify. That keeps them on the phone with you a little bit longer. Okay. Then once I get credibility, I book it. And so how I book it is, and I'm not even following a script, am I? I'm saying, okay, my job is to deliver this information to you. It'll take only about 15, 20 minutes. Okay. So I'm giving them the process. My job is to give you this information. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. They have me coming out to your area between 8 and 10 a.m. Saturday, or between 12 and 2 Saturday. Which time block is better for you? Okay. Then you book it. Okay. Now here's, okay, so there's there's a tie down that I add, and I get their medications and surgeries. And then there's no one directions, right? Directions. And then the last one is, I call it the sick and tired tie down. It's the sick and tired of being no-showed tie down. Okay. So those are my tie downs. So I book it. I try to give them 2 appointment times. Okay. And then they pick one. Then I tie it down. Okay. So when I tie it down, I'll say, so let me ask you a question. What medications? Okay. So I give them an incentive to give me this information. I go, just so that I'm only over your house 15, 20 minutes, just generally tell me what medications are you taking for your health conditions? And they'll say losartan. They'll say metformin. Don't ask them how to spell it. Just write it down phonetically, how you hear it. And then you can look it up online. You can talk to an underwriter. Is there a medication called losartan? Is there a medication called metformin or warfarin? Oh, that must be warfarin. Okay, just don't tie up a lot of time. Find out their general medications. And if they give it to you, say, now, what's that for? What's that for? What's that for? A warfarin. Okay, you had heart surgery. Okay. So what are the surgeries? The other thing I'll ask is the big 4. So have you had any major overnight surgeries? And the big 4. So do you have cancer? Have you ever had cancer, heart attack, stroke? There's 4. Heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes. Heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes. Do you have any of those? It's a shotgun. Oh, yeah, I had cancer. Oh, I had heart surgery. Okay, cool. So I get the medications out of the way. You can verify tobacco use. That's another one, tobacco. So are you both smokers or non-smokers? When was the last time you had a cigarette? Okay. And then your height and weight. Like I'll look, if I can get it, I will get it. And what that tells me is the longer I keep on the phone, I'm locking the appointment down. Okay. Now, some top agents, they don't go through that part. They don't go through medications because they know they can cover anybody with Great Western, right? And that's your choice. Okay. You can cover everyone with Great Western, and you're already good at underwriting. But this is my form of tie down, which is why my show rates are super high, because I nailed that, but I did in a way that was really efficient. Okay, that's optional. So directions, okay. So Joe, I have your address down. I verify the address. There's sometimes the address on the lead or the address they gave you, they gave the telemarketer, isn't the correct address. You need to get the correct address, particularly if you're going to go over their house. So you need to verify the address. So I've got you at 123 Main Street, and that's in Dublin, Ohio. Is that correct? That's correct. Okay, great. Now, sometimes my GPS works, sometimes it doesn't. Can you just tell me generally, like I'm coming from Dayton, okay, and I'm going to Dublin, so I would get off on the 270 exit north, right? And then I take the Dublin exit 161. So I'm going down 161. What's the major intersection that I need to turn to get to your house? Oh, I need to take the Farnsworth Avenue exit. Okay, do I need to make a left or right? You need to make a left. Okay, and then the 2 lights down, you're going to get to Main Street. So you want to make a right on Main Street, and our house is on Main Street. How many houses down on the left or right will it be? It's about 5 houses down on the right. What color is your house? Yellow. Okay, yellow. Now, this 123 street number, is that going to be on the garage, mailbox, curb, or on your doorstep? All of them? Oh, man, you definitely want me to find you. Psychology. I am asking questions. Here's what you're doing. You are making them visualize you coming to their house. They are almost asking you, would you like coffee would you like to put on coffee when you come over? You're acting like the guest that they're going to host in their house, like they would have anyone come to their house. You're putting yourself in the role of a guest coming to their house when you get general directions. Particularly if they're older, they're used to giving directions to their house because they've lived in their house 50 years, right? So they're vectoring you in and they're thinking that you're coming over. And if it's night, it's like, Joan, days are getting shorter. So, 7 o'clock p.m., it's probably going to be dark. Could you do me a favor? And can you make sure your porch light is on so I can see the numbers? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, fine. So you already given me instructions. You are locking it down because you're getting directions. Okay. And then you can stop there and then I forgot the test. Okay, typically this is the last one you want to do is the test. The test is, now, Joe, what time did I say I was going to be over there? That's the test. Yeah, it's between 10 and noon on Saturday. Yeah, okay, great. I just want to make sure. Now, if he says, I don't remember, then I think I'm working with a dementia person, okay? Okay, it was between 10 and noon. Sounds to me like you didn't write this down. Can you do me a favor? Can you grab a paper and a pen? Here's my name, Alex. Okay, you should do this anyway. Here's my name, Alex. I'm going to be there between 10 and noon on Saturday, okay? I don't give them my phone number. I tell them, okay? So we're good, still good for 10 to noon. Okay, now then I go into the second tired of being no-showed tie down. Now go into, now Joe, have you ever booked an appointment with someone and you went there to their house or to a restaurant or to wherever and they didn't show up? Has that ever happened to you where they did not show up? Oh, yeah, that's happened. Okay, how did that make you feel? Well, I didn't feel like they respected my time, or I didn't like it very much. Oh, okay, good. Well, that's how I feel. Like when I make time in my calendar to meet with someone, to help them with their insurance, to make sure their family's protected because they love their families. Like you love your family, right? Yeah. Well, when I show up and they don't show up, then I feel like, I could have helped another family. I've got plenty of families in Dublin I could take care of, but I'm going to make a special trip to your house to help you and Martha. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. Is there anything that can come up? Can you think of anything in the morning? Do you do a church group in the morning, and do you think that could go late? Or is there anything going on that could prevent you from meeting between 12 and noon on Saturday? The more you say between 12 and noon on Saturday, the more you lock it down. That's the sick and tired of being no-showed, tie down. is getting them emotionally involved in your pain when they don't show up. Okay. When you tie it down like this, your tie down ratio, your show ratios are going to go through the roof. Okay. Right. Does this make sense so far? The process. Now let's attack this, the credibility thing when you don't have not created credibility. Okay. And so let's. Okay, there are only so many objections. So not interested anymore. To I already have insurance. 3, don't have time. Number 4, can't afford it. Anyone got any other objections that you're getting a lot of? That's pretty much the main ones, right? Someone tell me yes. Are you guys still on?
I'm still on. The only other one I've heard agents ask me about is also, I never asked for it in the first place.
Oh, yeah. Never sent it in. I never asked for it. Okay. Those are the main ones. Like, you know, we can go and spend the next 3 hours on all the other ones, but the percentage of ones that you need to know how to handle are these 5. If you don't know how to handle these, well then, you know, but you need to like be able to answer it right away. So let me clear out some space so I can write some of this stuff down. And one of my favorite ways of answering objectors, you can answer with like 5 different ways of handling each one of these. Okay. The one I like to use it's the AB objection handling method. Okay. It's like the doctor's optometrist method. And so you guide the conversation with the client picking, is it A or B? If it's A, then I have something to say. If it's B, I have something to say. Okay. A or B. Okay. So what's the B choice? It's the or. Yeah. It's or then your statement. Okay. So A is the one that tries to generate the why. B is where you want to find if it's not this, it's going to be this. So it's kind of like optometrists. Those of you who have glasses, you know what I'm talking about. You know, when you're sitting in front of that big old thing on your face, does A look better or B? Which is better, A or B? B, okay, then they go click, click, click. Okay, is B better or C? Which is better, B or C? And they flip it. And then they go click, click, click. You know, they do one eye first and the next eye. This is all you're doing with the client. You're trying. So the objective of this is keep them on the phone. The longer you can keep them on the phone, the higher opportunity you have to book that appointment. Okay. So they're not interested anymore. Oh, that's great, Joe. You're not interested anymore. So I'll repeat back what they said. And then I do a pattern interrupt. Okay. Oh, so you're not interested anymore. So what that not interested anymore, when you repeat, it gives you a second or two to go into how you answer this. Okay. Oh, you're not interested anymore. Then you go pattern interrupt. Well, that's the reason why I'm calling. All the reasons they say are the reasons why I call them. That's the purpose of my call. That's the reason why I'm calling. Remember, they have to have a reason to stay on the phone with you. They said they're not interested anymore, saying, well, yeah, absolutely. You're not interested anymore? Well, that's the reason why I'm calling. Pattern interrupt. They're like, what do you mean that's why you're calling? Okay, then you ask the question to keep them on the phone. So the interest, not interested, I'll go something like this. I'll say, when most people, you're not interested anymore? Okay, well, take me back to when you filled the form out. Okay, take me back. So that's an NLP thing, right? Take me back to when you filled the form out. So I'm trying to put them in when they filled it out. Take me back when you fill the form out. Then I go, when most people fill out the online form, they're interested in taking care of their families so that when they die, their families are going to be able to have plenty of money from the insurance company to pay for their funeral expenses and other expenses that come out of your death. Okay. Or so they don't have to suffer the embarrassment of doing a GoFundMe page or having to pass the hat to raise money. Okay. Is that what you were looking for, or were you looking for something completely different? Okay. So you see what I did? I stated why other people did what they did. And then is that why is that why you filled it out, or were you looking for something completely different? Because it could be something completely different. Now, most people answer, well, yeah, I mean, that's why I filled it out. Okay. Well, my job simply is to get you this information and take only about 15, 20 minutes. They have me coming out. So you go right into booking the appointment. Okay. Because they agreed with you that it was the first one. They're not interested anymore. Oh, you're not interested anymore? Well, that's why I'm calling. Joe, when most people fill out a form like this, they're worried about their families having to pay, $20,000, $30,000 for their funeral. They didn't want them to have to suffer the embarrassment of doing a GoFundMe page, having to pass the hat, and they wanted an insurance company to give them the money to be able to not only take care of the funeral, but other final expense costs that pop up, etc. Now, is that what you were looking for, or were you looking for something completely different? Okay, does that make sense, gang? You're telling them what most people do when they fill this form out. Then you're asking, are you like those other people, or were you looking for something completely different? Okay, then if they say, well, yeah, that's what I was looking for, then book it. If they say, no, it's something different. Oh, well, what were you looking for? Well, I'm Medicare age, and I was actually looking for a Medicare program. Oh, how old are you? Well, I mean, you probably found out. I'm 64. I'll turn 65 in January. And I'm reading all this stuff. It's so confusing in Medicare. Oh, well, we actually have a Medicare expert that we can get together with. Her name's Joyce Seiler. And what we can do is we can do a Zoom call, and we can get her on. We can talk about what you need help with on Medicare. It's like what Jonathan Earls did last week, got Joy involved to help him close a Medicare deal. You don't do Medicare, but we've got experts that can help you, okay? It could be anything else, but, oh, great. Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, we have an expert in that area, tax-free retirement. We can do a 15, 20-minute Zoom call with our expert, Alex, or it's estate planning. It's whatever, okay? But that doesn't happen really. You'd be surprised. It doesn't really happen often. It would more like the 90%, they're going to say the first one, okay? Now, if they're not interested, say, well, they're going to not answer the question. They'll say, well, no, we're not interested. Oh, so you're not interested? So you already took care of this? Or, well, we haven't taken care of it. Oh, so did someone come over already? Yeah, someone came over and it just was too expensive. Oh, you can't afford it. Well, Joe, when people fill this form out, okay, so you go to the can't afford. Well, when most people fill this form out, they're looking at the best product for the best price. And my job is to help them get the best product for the best price. We have 55 different carriers, and I'm sure we can find something for you that you can afford, because that's my job, is find something that you can afford. So take care of what you want to take care of. They have me coming out to your area Saturday. I've got a slot between 10 and noon or between 3 and 5, which one's better for you. Just book it. Okay. That's how you do the can't afford. So they say, oh, yeah, we can't afford it. Oh, well, you can't afford it? Huh. Now, that's interesting. When most people say that, chances are you probably sat down with someone already and got some pricing. Yeah, someone came over, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, that's the reason why I'm calling. We are connected with 55 grade A carriers. Chances are that other agent probably was only contracted with 1 or 2. We're true brokers. So we'll be able to find something that you can afford. It's only going to take about 15, 20 minutes. They have me coming out to your house, right? You acknowledge the objection, but then you move on to book the appointment. Okay. So we took care of, so do you see how that can work? That AB works. Okay. Already have insurance. Oh, perfect. You already have insurance? Yeah, we already have insurance. Oh, perfect. That's the reason why I'm calling. When most people fill this form out, they're looking for the best product at the best price. Now, is that what you were looking for, or were you looking for something completely different? Well, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Well, look, we've got 55 carriers. Okay. What we'll be able to do for you is look at what you have and then see if we can give you a better product at a better price. At the very least, when we're done, you win because you either have the right product for you that is the most affordable, or we found you a better product that's more affordable for you, and you're going to save a bunch of money over the next 20, 30 years or whatever. You end up winning either way. So they have me coming out to your area Saturday. I got a time slot open between 10 and noon or between 3 and 5, which is better for you. Okay, do you see how you just answered it and then you moved on? Okay, now you might still get objections. Okay, again, if you have nothing ever to answer back to somebody, then you have never a chance to book the appointment. If you just hang up when someone gives you their first objection, then you didn't really do anything, did you? You didn't answer an objection because you chose not to. And you might turn around 1 out of 10, but you know what? That 1 out of 10 you're going to close. That 1 out of 10 is the 1 out of 10 you didn't have before, because the other 10 you did prior to that, you just hung the dadgum phone up. Remember, this is where you have a chance to hone your skills and start doing this stuff. Does that make sense? But if you never answer anything back, then you're going to continue not booking appointments and being frustrated. At least you have a shot when you practice these. Okay, I already have insurance. I don't have time. Well, Alex, I mean, it all sounds good, but I just really don't have time. Oh, you don't have time? So this is how I kind of handled that one a little bit. Yeah, I don't have a lot of time either. Actually, this takes only 15, 20 minutes. And you know, when most people fill this form out, they're looking for a program that would pay their family, you know, $20,000, $25,000, $15,000. So they'd have enough money to take care of all the burial expenses and all the expenses after burial when you die. So they don't have to go on Facebook with a GoFundMe page or whatever. They don't have to suffer that embarrassment. Now, is that what you were looking for? Or were you looking for something completely different? Well, yeah, that's what I was looking for. I don't have a lot of time on that. Yeah, neither do I. I don't have a lot of time either. Like this takes 15, 20 minutes. They have me coming out to your area between 10 and noon on Saturday or between 3 and 5 that afternoon, which is better for you. Right? So I don't have time. You answer the same exact way that you answered all the other ones. Yeah, I don't have a lot of time. You sympathize or you empathize with them because you don't have a lot of time. Okay. But Alex, it doesn't take 15, 20 minutes. Dudette, it takes 15, 20 minutes to cover the information. It's their fault when they want to cover their families. That's another half hour to your appointment. So it's their fault. You're doing what you said you do. But then when they choose an option, well, it's their fault for extending the appointment, not you. Okay, so get off your moral authority high horse, okay? You're not lying to them. Okay, does that make sense? So we took care of that. And then I never sent it in. Okay, you see the recording link. I don't recommend, clicking on it. But, and here's the reason, is some states require both parties to acknowledge a recording. Some states do not. You're gonna have to look up which one you're in. Okay. Which state you're in on a TLP lead. If you're in a state that only has one party, which is you, or which is the telemarketing company, then okay, does that make sense? Now they require two-party. If it's a two-party state, don't mention a recording. Okay. But the way I would handle this, recording or not, even if it's on a direct mail lead or whatever, it's like, oh man, you know what? I have this form here that was sent in several months ago or just this last week, so let me just verify the information again. I've got you at blah, 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 whatever. It's like, okay, well, when most people send a form like this in, they send it in because they're worried, okay, use emotional words. They're worried about their families having to pay for their funeral and put it on a credit card, do a GoFundMe page, or have to pass the hat, which is really embarrassing. Okay, when most people fill this form out, they want an insurance company to give their family enough money to do a cremation or bury them, whichever one is most affordable. We've got 55 companies that we can find the best one that's most affordable for you. Okay, now is that what you're looking for, or are we looking for something completely different? Okay, so you go back to the why, and then it's either or, right? Either or. Does that make sense? Like I haven't even covered the script, but I gave you the process. Does anyone have any questions on those 5? Look, it's not going to turn around every single one, but as you start getting better and as you start coming back with confidence, you're going to be amazed how many people it turns around. Okay, you will turn people around because you're using it with confidence, and you're doing the mirror and matching, right? You're doing all those sound principles, okay, that we just talked about, but then you've got a game plan that you're going to go do. And that script I sent out to you on Thursday has all this stuff in it. It has different intros. So depending on the type of lead, it has a different intro. Okay. Now let's do the old lead intro. Because I think this is one that a lot of you are getting started with, like old direct mail leads. Some of you are getting old direct mail leads, which I love old direct mail leads. Okay. So I go into, so my intro for that, when it's an older lead, whether it's final expense or mortgage, I'll say, hello, hey, is this Joe? Joe Smith? Yeah, this is Joe Smith. Oh, Joe, this is Alex. Alex, with the mortgage protection department. Listen, I'm a supervisor with a company, and I'm just doing a little bit of a investigation here. You had sent in a form some time ago, could have been when you got your mortgage. And in all those papers that you filled out another form, and that form was about mortgage protection, where if you died, then our company would pay off the mortgage for you so your family can live in your home mortgage free. Does that ring a bell at all? Or am I being completely ridiculous? Again, AB, right? AB. Does that ring a bell to you, or am I being completely ridiculous? Well, it doesn't quite ring a bell. I sort of maybe remember. Well, look, that's okay. Let me tell you some of the information you filled out here, and if I'm talking to the right person, and we'll be able to get to the bottom of this real quick. Okay. So it says here your date of birth is 10/26/1960. Also, that means you're going to be 63 next week. Okay. So yeah, that's okay. And I have you at 5'9", 175. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. And then your wife, Jenny, her birthday is 3/3/1986. Wow, you like them young, man. 3/3. And she's, 5'3" and 110 pounds. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Well, I think I'm talking to the right person. And it says your mortgage here is like 225,000. Yeah, and then I have your address here is 123 Main Street in Dublin, Ohio. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Well, I'm talking to the right person. So my job is we show in our records that we have not done anything about this. And I know if we dropped the ball and we didn't get back to you after you got your mortgage done, or you just forgot about it. In either case, here I am. So we didn't take care of it. So let me ask you a question. Do you have anything in place right now where when you die, that your mortgage is paid off and your family doesn't have to worry about? Do you have anything in place right now? Well, I don't have anything in place right now, for this specifically, but I do have, a large life insurance policy. Oh, how much is your life insurance policy? It's 500,000. Oh, okay. All right, 500,000. That's good. I'm impressed. I'm in the insurance industry, and most people don't have anything even approaching that amount. So let me tell you what that insurance is. That insurance is income replacement insurance. In other words, whatever your income is every year, that 500,000 will help your family continue in their lifestyle when you're gone for X number of years. Okay, it could be 5 years if you make 100,000. It could be less than that if you make more than that. That's what that is. It's income replacement. I'm not talking about income replacement. I'm talking about mortgage protection. So when you die, the $225,000 coverage will be taken care of, be paid off, where your family never has to worry about making another mortgage payment again. So that's really what I'm talking about. Listen, it doesn't sound like you have it in place. Look, they have me coming out to your area Saturday between 10 and noon or between 3 and 5. Which one's better for you? Okay, I booked it. So what did I do? I did the intro. I'm the investigator. I did the credibility, right? I did the AB to solidify the why, because it maybe have been an older lead. Well, it is an older lead. And then I booked it. And then I have to tie it down, right? So I didn't tie it down yet, but you know how I do the tie down. Okay, so now what if it's an old final expense lead? I'll say the same thing. Hey, Joe, this is Alex, Senior Benefits Center here in Montgomery County. Hey, let me tell you the reason why I'm calling. I'm a supervisor for the company. And you had sent in some inquiry, either online or actually a form, where you're looking to get information on final expense burial insurance to make sure that your wife here, and I have her name here is Martha, so that you wouldn't have to come up with the money to bury you. Okay. Now, so we show in our records that we did not take care of this. And I'm just calling to figure out what we can do to remedy this. Okay. Does this sound familiar to you at all? Or am I sounding completely ridiculous? Again, A or B? No, I think I remember something. Or I don't remember that at all. Okay. Well, let's just back up. Square one. Let me ask you, Joe, when you die, what will Mary do to be able to pay for your final expenses? Okay. Then what you're doing is you're in lead refresh mode. You're getting back to the why, but you're coming at the why from, just more of a straightforward answer or question. Hey, this is the situation, or you can go back to, listen, Joe, when most people fill this form out, what they are looking for is they're looking for our company to pay the final expense, $15,000, $20,000, $5,000, so that your wife Martha wouldn't have to come up with that money, or if she wouldn't have to go begging your family to help pay for your funeral, right? Now, is that something you might be looking for, or were you looking for something completely different? Okay, then you do the AB. You do the AB again. Okay. Is this making sense? Are you guys still awake out there? Because I can't see you.
Yeah, everything's making perfect sense, Alex.
Cool. Okay. So the scripts that I have that I sent out all follow this kind of general vibe, right? Okay. These are the typical ways to answer objections. The AB way of answering the objection. You're agreeing with them. Oh, you're not interested anymore? Okay, buys you time. You get your mind right. You say, that's the reason why I'm calling. Pattern interrupt. Okay, pattern interrupt, and then AB. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, you agree with them? Oh, restate what they said, pattern interrupt, that's the reason I'm calling, and then the AB. Simple. But you got to like hop on it. And sometimes, like we did here, you might go from not interested to can't afford it. Okay. Whatever. All right, gang. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, you're going to get the, well, can you send me a quote on the phone? I forgot about that one, the quote thing. Okay, well, can't you give me some quotes? Joe. Oh, okay. So we go back. Well, can't you just give me some quotes on the phone? Oh, you were looking for some quotes on the phone? Okay. Joe, that's the reason why I'm calling. What most people, agents do, is they try to do a bait and switch on you. And what I mean by that is they try to lowball you by giving you a low quote, then you have them come to their house, and then the real policy doesn't even come close to their quote. It's just a bait and switch. Now, if you want me to bait and switch you, I can do that, but wouldn't you want to know what this really would cost? And wouldn't you want to know different options so we can get the best product, the best price? What is he going to say? No. You say, well, yeah. Okay, the only way I can do that is I need to sit down with you and Mary, and we can go over it. It only takes 15, 20 minutes. I'll deliver the information, and then you can make whatever decision you want. I'll get out of your hair, but until I sit down with you and ask you a bunch of questions and understand what it is you're looking for, I can't really do that with any kind of integrity, because I'm not one of those bait and switch agents, right? So that's the way I would totally handle that. Quote, can you send me something in the mail? Joe, I don't think that I would fit in our mailbox. I don't think I'd fit in your mailbox. Okay. So that's kind of a fun way to handle that. And then you go back to hey, listen, I can mail all kinds of stuff to you, but in my experience, no one makes decisions over stuff they receive in the mail. You get a lot of mail, don't you? Do you make a lot of business decisions, family business decisions based on what you get in the mail? I don't. Listen, the only way that we really can do this with any kind of integrity, most agents, they'll send you all kinds of crap in the mail, just to get you to talk to them, come over, but it's a bait and switch. And my integrity is not that way where I do that. Okay. The only way I can really help you, blah, 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 blah. Same way to handle that. Okay. Anyone else? This kind of really turned out pretty good as far as breaking it down. I hope it helped everybody.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we really kind of got into
Very
it.
knowledgeable.
I'm kind of surprised.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, gang. Well, Scott, when's Alabama going to lose today? Is it afternoon game or evening?
I cannot answer that because that will lose you all kinds of business in Alabama and around all over.
I know, really. That's one thing, right, Scott? You never want to tell them what you think about stuff. You just tell them what you agree with them, and then you move on.
And they will bait and switch you on that too. So
they'll suck you in, won't they?
Yeah. Politics
Don't go
too.
There.
Yeah. I just tell them, hey, I played at Northeast Mississippi Junior College, and they go, oh, and we just keep going. Nobody cares. Tigers.
Yeah, I went to Air Force, right? Air Force plays Navy. We're undefeated. And, so I always look for clues at what service they were in, Navy or whatever. But anyway, that'll be our next boot camp. I'm going to do an in-home appointment boot camp and go over the Sandler sales system and how that can translate to telesales. Sometimes people that are really good at telesales just get good at it because they went over and over through hundreds of appointments where they've honed their way of doing it. Problem is sometimes it's hard to translate that to brand new agents because they've been doing it forever, but they can't break it down in a way that a new agent can start learning. So I'll give you a framework, just like I did on this phone calling, a framework to use so that you can get through it and start honing your process. But I'll give you a skeleton to work with so that you can start getting there quicker, right? Because that's sometimes the frustration is, well, I said it exactly the way Rochelle said it. The only problem is the reason why Rochelle gets results with that is because all the trial and error she did, the prior 200 appointments to get to where she says it the way she said it. And what she didn't tell you was the 3 other things she said before that set that one up, right? So I'll give you a framework when you do an in-home or, just how to do an appointment with someone next time. It's not going to be next Saturday. It'll be some Saturday coming up. So anyway, gang, appreciate y'all being on. I will, I've never gotten out of these less than 2 hours. So I hope it's worth it. Thanks for hanging in there. All right, man. You guys take care. God bless. And I'll get this recording out to you on email blast.
Thank you, Alex. Awesome.
Rock on, man. God bless everybody.